Hey, good morning, YouTube. Good morning, fellow airhead owners. I'm coming to you because I didn't want to keep you hanging. I have a few more editing intensive videos in the making at the moment. Then I was also sick for a few days, running a pretty severe cold, so I wasn't really up to doing anything. And so I figured to keep the content rolling, I'm just putting out another product introduction to you. It's motorcycle related, that's why I have my trusty R90 here behind me. As you guys probably know just as well as I do, when you own a vintage motorcycle, it is pretty difficult to add modern amenities to a motorcycle. What I mean with modern amenities is having heated grips, having heated vests, having heated boots, having heated gloves. Modern motorcycles, they have a pretty robust electrical system, and they have power outlets everywhere, and you can plug in equipment like this to make long distance touring, adventure riding, those kind of things a little bit more bearable when the weather is a little bit less desirable. Modern motorcycles are very well equipped for those kind of long distance rides. If you have a 1970s motorcycle like I have, usually the alternator power output is limited. It's limited to what was really necessary for the motorcycle to function properly, to provide turn signals and headlights and taillights and good ignition. But above that, there was not much headroom left in the power output of the alternator. Here in this case, if I'm not completely mistaken, don't hold it against me, I think my alternator puts out 280 watts total. There were a few different versions of alternators used in the /6 series of BMW motorcycles, but you get the drift. Older motorcycles probably are not very suited for installing lots of USB outlets and charging all kinds of things, and having dash cams running and GoPros charging, and then wearing a heated vest and heated boots and heated gloves and all that stuff. So I was thinking of alternatives, what I could do to maybe make this happen. And of course there are aftermarket solutions where you can upgrade the alternator on a motorcycle like this to have higher output. In that case, then of course you can start and rewire stuff and put some outlets, 12-volt outlets on this motorcycle, on the handlebars and under the seat. And then suddenly you can plug in all kinds of stuff, but you still struggle because of wiring. It's a old wiring concept. Most of the wiring here in this motorcycle is done in the headlight bucket. And you definitely want to make sure you are not overloading the existing wiring, so it has to be done in kind of a holistic approach. Rewire the entire bike, maybe give it a completely different circuit breaker panel that modern motorcycles may have. Even voltage regulators and such will be affected by more power consumption and also by more power output. So what else can you do instead of buying a new alternator, upgrading it with aftermarket parts, especially on a vintage bike? If you are like me, you want to keep it close to original, maybe use original parts to modify it, then you might look for some other alternatives. And here's an alternative that I want to show you. So the product that I'm going to show you here today is a Amazon purchase. It's made by a brand name DOACE, so D-O-A-C-E, DOACE. And this is a heated vest. This heated vest has 3 heating zones that are located here in the stomach area, in the shoulder area, and right here in the kidney back area. And it's not motorcycle powered, so you don't have to plug it. You can theoretically, but you don't have to plug it into an outlet on your motorcycle. So if you have an old motorcycle like this and the power output is not sufficient, you can power it with a power bank, backup battery for your phone. This one here I already owned. That's why I even came up with this idea to, instead of trying to make it work with a bike, to just use this power bank. It's made by Anker. It's a 10,000 milliampere hour It's called the Power Core Select 10,000 and supposedly has 37 watt hours. And I've not tried the max battery range of a combination with this vest. I've been on a 2-hour ride so far with this combination, and the battery charge indicator showed me still full at the end of this ride. And I only had it at a lower heat setting. Put it on. It is kind of lined with a reflective material on the inside, which is supposedly reflect radiant heat back to your own body, which might be effective. I don't know exactly. It's relatively thin, so there's definitely not much insulation layer in there. And yeah, I chose a size that's relatively form-fitting. I want to wear this relatively close to my body, just above my t-shirt, and then put whatever other layers I wear on top of this. So another sweatshirt, maybe then the thick Gore-Tex riding jacket, and then of course I'm always wearing my airbag vest that I introduced to you guys in a separate video. So then here in the right side pocket is a USB plug that plugs right into my standard issue Anker power bank, and that's pretty much it. So you put this whole battery back in this pocket and you're good to go. And then a little further over to the side here, next to the pocket are 3 push buttons, and each button is for one heating zone. So when it's off, it's backlit in a blue. I'll show you in some B footage there or some pictures of it. It's light blue. Then you can push each button once and all of them turn green. That is the lower heat setting. And then you can push them once again and they turn red, and that's the higher heat setting. And so you can turn them individually on or off. You can have all 3 running at the same time. You can choose different heat settings. So if you want your back to be a little warmer than your front, you can make that happen by just pushing the buttons and then just pay attention to the color. So green is the lower temperature, red is the higher temperature. And that is pretty much how this whole thing operates. The buttons could be a little hard to reach under your riding jacket, so if you need to get access to it, it's probably better to pull over to the side of the road and then manipulate those. If you have a lot of things in your pockets of your riding jacket, maybe they could be pushed. I haven't had that issue. I usually don't put too much stuff in my pockets because, you know, I'm always afraid if I really have a crash and I carry, let's say I have a pocket knife or a bundle of keys in my pocket, that I'm gonna stab myself with something. So I usually just have my wallet in my riding jacket, my cell phone goes on my handlebars, and everything else that I carry, I have cases for. You know, even though this is a 1974 motorcycle, at least they have some cargo carrying capacity built in, which is nice, I gotta say, especially on the way to work, if you have to take your lunchbox and your uniform pieces, in my case. So that's pretty nice. But yeah, I've even worn it sitting in my office on colder evenings when the house is a little cold and I didn't want to turn the heater up. Maybe the kids are already sleeping. I just put that on and then I can, you know, decide, do I want it warm here or in my shoulders? Maybe if you have a little bit of a tweaked neck and you want to get some warmth on your shoulders, you can just turn it on. And like I said, 2 different temperature settings. In the hot setting, it gets pretty warm. So for the really cold riding mornings or in the evenings, or maybe if you are riding in the winter, wherever you are located, this could be quite a nice little add-on to your gear. It's very thin. It has a kind of a V-neck. I wanted that because when I ride in colder temperatures, I usually put a type of a gaiter on to keep my neck area really warm. And they are pretty thick and bulky sometimes. And then I need to shove them under my helmet. and then shove him into my jacket. And if there's more material in the way, it just gets too tight, and my riding jacket gets then a little too tight at the top to zip it up all the way. That's why I chose the V-neck version. There are other brands, other models that actually have a kind of a, not like a turtleneck, but like a really high zipping shape here in the neck area. And I didn't want that. So that's why V-neck, form fitting. So I originally ordered an extra large, and this is a large. I'm 6 foot tall with about 195 pounds. So this fits pretty well, I would say. It goes down pretty far. If you have a shorter style riding jacket, it might stick out, but you know, looks are secondary in this case. This is more for comfort. So if it's really cold outside, I rather have a little bit longer, especially in the kidney area here. And right here is another heating element, so that's pretty nice. I'm not going to turn it on right now. It's off currently because it's pretty warm out here, t-shirt weather. What is today's date? It's May 13th, 2022. So we're going into summer here pretty soon. But the mornings are still pretty nippy, and I wanted to commute a little more with my bike rather than taking the truck. The vest shows up in a Amazon packaging, of course, and then in this, it's kind of like a Ziploc type style bag that could probably be a storage container for the 6, 7, 8 months out of the year when you don't use it. And it has the smart heated vest, intelligent temperature control. I think they meant to say intelligent, but they put an R in there. So intelligent temperature control. And then surprise to me was that this thing can actually be washed. So 40 degree, I guess a gentle cycle. They even give you a little pouch. In here is a little zippered pouch that is made of a very light material. I guess it's supposed to just protect the vest while it's in the washing machine. Yeah, gentle cycle, 40 degrees Celsius. This is more like a European labeling for wash cycles, but low temperature. And yeah, you can wash this. So if you get all sweaty because of the heat this thing puts out, and I gotta say, just by wearing it, even though it's not a thermal insulator, it's more like a reflective material with a silver liner inside. I'm like sweaty already, so I better get done with this video and get out of this vest. But yeah, in the colder days, this is actually really nice. So check it out. It has pretty good reviews on Amazon, and so far I haven't had any issues. I haven't burnt myself. My skin hasn't gotten irritated by anything. And I don't wear it on my naked skin, so just wear it on top of a t-shirt, and when it gets too warm, turn it off. That's my recommendation. And then if you already have a battery bank like I have multiples. This one here is a pretty decent one. You know, if you already have a $30, $40 battery bank, you don't have to buy a vest that comes with one. That's why I picked this one. Much cheaper than the other ones. This was 40 bucks, around $40. There are versions that are 60 to 80 bucks that have a battery included. So if you don't own a battery, just get one of those then. Or you buy a separate battery. You pick your own brand, you look for a battery that's a good quality, because you don't want a lithium battery to suddenly start burning in your pocket, right? So DOACE, Amazon, I will leave an affiliate link down below that supports the channel. It doesn't cost you any extra. If you like those little product introductions, give me a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to the channel. There's going to be a mix of content of all kinds of different topics, but I will label videos so you can easily identify, is it motorcycle related, is it watch repair, is it anything in the shop, is it home DIY, so you can see it right out front. And yeah, thank you for watching. Thanks for being subscribed to my channel and supporting me already. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.